Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very libido-driven episode of the Weekend Superheroes Podcast. Wow. Today is Thursday, May 17th, 2018. I'm Sean, and sitting with me always is Pat and Steve. Filling in for Darius, we have Griff. How you guys doing today?
You know what? I'm good.
I don't know. It's throwing my game
okay.
off not having Darius here. I'm going to be honest.
But I feel like it's like more often than not, it's like filling in for Darius.
Yeah, I know. It's getting pretty weird.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill, Sean.
What is that supposed to mean?
It's Darius.
Have you seen his feet? They're gigantic.
Steve, who did we talk to last time?
We talked to Reverend Howard Storm. Shared his near-death experience with us, which was pretty fucking crazy. And told us what he heard, saw, and felt when he died. You can check that episode out and also go to Amazon and buy his book titled My Descent into Death, A Second Chance at Life.
He was amazing, guys. Please go check that out if you haven't heard it. But our topic today is just a bit different.
It's the young and the restless. We're going to meet some couples who say their unions are more secure and more honest because they don't believe in monogamy. They swear that the secret to staying together is not having secrets at all.
That's right, kids. Today we're talking about swingers. And then there's no standard definition of swinging. It's defined as a context in which married couples or couples in committed relationships consensually exchange partners for sexual purposes. Now, for those of you listening that are completely disgusted by this lifestyle for whatever reason, allow me to remind you that the divorce rate in this country is still between 40 and 50%.
Staggering.
Wow.
It's a staggering number.
Yes.
Also, get the stick out of your ass.
Yes, okay, there's probably a swinger or two in that population as well. But why do marriages fail in the first place? Here's our first studies show.
So, studies show, and this goes back to 2011, as always, on the Weekend Superheroes. Studies show, according to marriage.com, the top 5 reasons for getting divorced in America. Number 5, any guesses?
Being Sean.
Gaining weight. So,
Oh, fuck.
number
Gaining
4.
weight?
Yeah. What about number 4? Everybody?
It's not losing weight, is it?
Number 4, constant arguing. Number 3,
Stop it. Sorry.
You know what? This podcast is getting a divorce.
Number 3, lack of communication. Number 2, that paper. Everybody wants it. Money.
Mo money, mo money,
Yep.
mo.
Money, more problems.
And number 1, infidelity or cheating on your partner.
No consent.
Wow.
Son of a bitch.
That's right. Now, no, this does not mean you should start finding people to swing with right now. This lifestyle is not for everyone. But I think you'll find that if you practice this lifestyle carefully, it can be beneficial for both you and your partner. But we'll get to that in a minute. Before we continue, we have to distinguish swinging from other forms of free and open love lifestyles. Many people will confuse swinging with open marriage or polygamist ideologies. But what actually is the difference?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of research, and from what I can tell, an open relationship is really kind of a catch-all term for any sort of non-monogamous relationship. So it can include strictly sexual arrangements, emotional relationships, or any combination thereof. Polygamy is an emotional relationship involving 3 or more parties. So it's definitely a relationship, emotional kind of attachment. So swinging is really something that couples do as a couple. So it's not an emotional attachment. In fact, most swingers make rules that there cannot be emotional attachments. So it's really just about sex, or as they call it, play.
Okay, now, with swinging, the plan is to keep the primary love for the original spouse in the forefront. But critics of the lifestyle argue that partner swapping is adultery. And that goes against every fiber of what marriage is actually supposed to be. By definition, they're actually right. But you have to separate out the term cheating, because with swinging, there's something called consent. And that consent is between all parties involved. So,
What the fuck is consent?
I thought Darius wasn't here. So, are non-monogamous relationships healthy, or will jealousy and intimidation inevitably destroy what was once a happy marriage? Let's actually ask the new guy, Griff. You're a married man. Do you believe that non-monogamous relationships can work?
Oh, I see why you asked me here now.
Asked me.
Oh, I see
Why
why
did you ask me?
I didn't even ask you nothing yet.
I see why you asked me here now.
Guten
I
Tag,
knew it.
ja?
I knew I was here for some reason. I looked around the table. We were having some drinks beforehand, and I realized I'm the only married man here right now.
Right, absolutely. So we've actually got people from all stages.
My wife might listen to this.
No, she won't. we know your wife. She's not a chance in hell.
Yes or no?
No.
Why is that?
No, I don't believe they can work. You can get attached. You get too attached when you start getting physical. You can set the rules, and it might go good the first or second time, and then next thing you know, you get too caught up in it.
That's fair, but what if you don't keep in the same routine schedule?
Yeah, what if it's a one-time hit it and quit it kind
There
of
we
thing?
go. And what if you keep swapping out?
And say you only do it on vacation, so you'll never see these people again.
There we go.
Oh, that's just straight cheating.
Not if
Not
you're
if
doing it
everybody
together.
knows.
Oh, if you're doing it together?
Yeah, say you're on vacation
No.
and...
No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work for me. I don't know about other people. Apparently it works for other people. It would not work for me.
Well, I mean, you can't even
couldn't do
satisfy
it.
your wife, let alone two women.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Hey, Pat, you're getting married. Do you believe that?
Not if she listens to this.
Do you believe that adding another couple into the mix could strengthen your relationship?
I don't know about strengthen. I mean, I think it comes down to a kind of a personal thing. I guess if she wanted to try it, I'd be open to thinking about it. But I mean, how do you be the one that suggests it, right?
That's your fear, is you being the one to suggest it?
No, I mean, I don't even necessarily want to do it, but just how do you even broach that subject? I don't
Just
know.
ask
It's
me,
honestly
Pat.
never. I mean, it's honestly never even occurred to me, really. I mean, but as a guy, I mean, we all watch porn, right? Isn't that every guy's fantasy?
Yep.
I mean, I can show you my browsing history.
If you're wondering who said, yep, that was Steve, by the way. So we
Hey.
talked to a married one. We talked to someone who's engaged to be married. Steve, you're a single guy. What do you think about swapping partners?
You know what? Me personally, it's kind of strange. If I'm involved with somebody, like I don't want somebody else in there.
Because of jealousy or another reason?
Yeah, I mean that and like if
But what if she wanted to do it? What if she came to you and was like, Steve, this would be really hot?
There we go.
see, I don't know if I'd still be. I don't know if I'd be down for it though.
I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, like if I'm involved with somebody, like
Not
if I'm-
even for a devil's threesome with two women?
Or two men.
Well, hold on. Pat, you're onto something there. That's a little different.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I'm involved with somebody, like I don't know, I'm kind of just in with that person. But if it's just like kind of like a casual thing, and she was like, "Hey, so we're just kind of dating right now," and like,
My best friend's in town.
What about? I'd be like, I mean, if you're down, I'm down. But
Steve, serious question. Would you ever cross swords with me?
like we haven't already.
Who hasn't?
So
I should have said again. I crossed it out, but I see where you're going with this. It's amazing. Now, even though the research on this group of people can date back all the way to the 1960s, because of the secrecy of people involved in this lifestyle, very little research was ever recorded. Turns out people in this lifestyle, they aren't always keen on admitting it. However, the research I did, I found it always led me back to one study.
Pornhub.com.
The Electronic Journal of Human Sexuality, or the EJHS, or the
It just...
Nice Pat. Volume 3. This was put together by Dr. Curtis Bergstrand and Ms. Jennifer Williams, now Dr. Jennifer Sinski. Yeah, a lot can happen. Evidence of wife swapping has been around since the 16th century. It has been reported for the first time in the media as wife swapping. This term later fell off the radar because it objectified women and left the men out of the description entirely.
Until ABC brought that show up.
ABC?
Wife swap.
Wife swap.
Oh, was that an ABC?
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
sexual. They just sent women to live with other families for like a week or whatever.
How they
The
go?
back behind the scenes was on Showtime. You missed that.
Wife swap after dark.
Yeah.
In America, experts agree that,
America.
that swinging was a natural progression of the free love movement. That began in the 19th century. It became especially popular between 1915 and 1925. Mainly
Oh,
in the-
wow. That's a lot earlier than I thought you were going to say.
Absolutely,
I was
but-
thinking like Flower Child.
I was
and-
thinking Woodstock.
Yeah, but you're only thinking. But this was only in the New York area. It became super popular. Then,
Oh, sorry. I was thinking with my dick.
then following World War II, key clubs arose. Air Force pilots swapping wives during social events called key parties. Anyone know what a key party is?
Oh, I do.
Oh, all right. Well, what's a key party?
So actually, a key party is where you and your spouse arrive at a party with a bunch of other spouses, and usually the gentlemen end up taking their keys and putting them into a bowl or a bag, go throughout the party and socialize, have some fun, and have some drinks, of course. And then at the end of the party, when it's time to go home, the females that are attending this party end up picking keys from the bowl. And usually the keys that they pick, whoever they belong to, end up going home with that woman and, kind of do whatever she wants.
So do they make their decision on the size of the key, or?
Call the locksmith.
Well, that's interesting you said that. And here's the reason why. There was actually a movie that was out called The Ice Storm in 1997, and it was with Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver. And in that movie, they actually had little keychains that were attached to the keys that kind of gave a little hint as to maybe who owned the keys.
So here's my question. Can I put like my house keys in and then my car keys and then possibly some kind of a locker key and just walk home with three? I don't know the rules. I
You
don't
know,
know
a locker at the bus station.
What are you gonna do this like?
Start leaving my gas and water bills in there.
This is like Adam does with the freaking Chinese auction baskets. He just rigs them.
Fold it
Yeah,
slightly.
just fold it.
Maybe that's the way to go.
And that's how you win.
Who knows? So it didn't actually hit suburban America until around the 1950s. This was the advent of more organized house parties and partner swapping. Then, of course, came the 60s and the 70s, or the hippie era. The free love-based swingers movement exploded. Maybe you guys have heard about this particular era.
I'll be honest with you. I don't remember anything from the 60s or 70s.
Everyone having sex with everyone.
That sounds terrible.
Right. But I got a question. Did the swinging lifestyle die with the hippies? What kind of people are still involved? Remember Dr. Jennifer Sinski, the one I just talked about before?
Sure.
Well, I tracked her down, and I asked her if she had more recent numbers to help me understand the prevalence of modern-day swingers.
Dude, it's still big time.
Turns out she and Dr. Bergstrand wrote a book all about swingers in the 21st century. She was awesome enough to give us a lowdown on the swingers amongst us today. And here she is.
Hello, weekend superheroes. My name is Dr. Jennifer Sinski, and I'm a sociologist who has studied and done research on swinging and swinging behaviors, along with my co-author, Dr. Kurt Bergstrand. We published a book in 2010 based on our research that we did in 2000. Our book title is Love, Sex, and Marriage in the 21st Century, Swinging in America. The population, or the numbers of people out there that identify as swingers, has been really hard to identify because swinging is considered still today a taboo behavior in the United States. We are very much a monocentric culture, and we value monogamy even though we don't necessarily remain monogamous. We encode monogamy in our legal system. It's against the law to marry more than one person. So there's a lot of pressure on people to remain monogamous, and people that come out as being swingers or having sex outside of marriage are often sanctioned for that behavior. So you can imagine it's very difficult to do research with swingers, which is why an online survey provides some level of anonymity to people, and they can feel like they're not giving away their identity. As far as the number of swingers in the United States, research really doesn't agree. And again, we go back to the idea that this is taboo behavior, so people don't want to report. Anywhere between 2%, which several researchers found in 80s and 90s, up to 15%, which is reported by the North American Swingers Club Association. So the true number probably lies someplace in between that. In our survey, we found that overall 75% of males and 70% of women were married. About 7% of males and 5% of females were single, And so overall, we see our population were married and taking part in swinging behavior. The average age for males was about 41. The average age of females was about 36. So pretty much what we're seeing is that these people are your next door neighbors. They might be your parents. They might be your family's friends. And you might not know that they were. As far as how divorce or length of marriage is impacted by swinging, as far as I know, there have not been any long-term studies done to see if swingers have a higher or lower divorce rate. What swingers did do was tell us about their satisfaction with their marriage. And overall, swingers identified that they either received more satisfaction after entering swinging, their marriage provided them more satisfaction, or it didn't change their satisfaction, indicating that it provided them another opportunity to have a social life together, but it didn't ultimately change their satisfaction because they were happy in their marriage to begin with. The regulars in the lifestyle differ from couples who drop out, mainly in the quality of their marriage before swinging. That is, swinging seems to enhance strong marriages and have negative effects on weak ones.
That was Dr. Jennifer Sinski. She was amazing to come on and record that for us. You can buy her book, Swinging in America, Love, Sex, and Marriage in the 21st Century. On Amazon or wherever you can buy literature. You can get it now and get more detailed information on the actual lifestyle. Although it doesn't say it directly, the Electronic Journal of Human Sexuality, or the lifestyle provides support for more marital satisfaction, sexual satisfaction, and paves the way for better communication and, yes, trust. Don't believe the numbers? Well, maybe it's time we hear from a married couple still very active in the lifestyle. Our guests tonight are two honest and amazing people that have been by each other's side for over 17 years. Their fairy tale began as a high school sweetheart that blossomed into a marriage that is still going strong after 7 years. They appeared on A&E's Neighbors Without Benefits. Please welcome owners of Morphogen Nutrition, Ben and Dedra Hartman. Guys, how are you tonight?
Guys, thanks so much for having us on.
We're good. Well, I'm going to start. So, listen, every story has a great beginning. Can you guys tell us and our listeners the first time you two ever swapped partners?
That's how we're opening, huh?
Right into it.
Let's do this.
Yeah, so we started swinging actually right after we got married, which was we got married on our 10-year anniversary, and we were kind of in like a sex drought, you could say. So we kind of started watching some porn and got involved or interested in like swap porn, and we're like, would you ever do that? And we're like, maybe.
Yeah, so right around that same time I had started our business, I had created Morphogen Nutrition, and I actually took some time off from my previous career to work on that. And when I was home one day, I signed us up on a swinger matching website.
He didn't tell me.
Without Dedra knowing.
Wow, that's a bold move.
That's the way to go. No, you want to do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So long story short, over a couple months, we met a lot of awesome couples. Just got dinner with them and heard their stories and their whole thing. Became really good friends with a bunch of them. Went to a huge Halloween event that year. One of the couples that we were pretty close with at the time asked us if we wanted to get a room with them. This was a brand new thing for us, so the two of us snuck off to a bathroom to, make sure that we were ready to go. And
we had all these rules set up basically.
Yeah,
and they were like, no kissing, no this.
No, yeah, don't do this, don't do this. And we got in that bathroom and we looked at each other and we go, fuck it, do whatever you want. We go, I love you, I trust you, do whatever you want.
It's
and
fucking go time.
So,
Good for you.
So, and we said, if this is the worst thing we've ever done, we're strong enough to survive it. And if it's not, then it'll only strengthen what we already have. So we ended up
It was a great time.
Hooking up with this couple. It was super nervous and, plenty of awkward moments, but it was a great time. And we walked out of there feeling like, we had a renewed sense of our commitment to each other.
Well, that sounds like a big do or die moment. It's either this is going to strengthen us or it will destroy us completely.
That's go time right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we've talked to so many couples and been around so many people that have either been in the lifestyle or been interested in it. And we always say, this isn't something you do to save a relationship or to even build a relationship. This is something that is an adjunct onto an already great relationship. If you are failing, this will probably accelerate the process, especially if you have communication issues and trust issues and all that kind of stuff. If you're already great and you want to have, more intense communication, more enhanced trust, all these sorts of things, you want to have experiences together, this is the way to go.
And you have the best sex after you have sex with someone else.
I mean, we went home.
Okay.
We went home. It was probably 4:00 in the morning because the swinger clubs open till 5:00 in the morning usually. So we ended up hooking up with this couple. We drove back home and ended up having some of the best sex we've ever had. The remainder of into the morning after that time. So
Did you try to do this before marriage at all?
No.
So we had talked about it.
We talked about, and I had some
For years.
girl experiences in college. The typical I kissed a girl.
Yeah.
Well, I kissed a girl, and I did more than that during college.
Yeah.
So that kind of sparked. So that sparked are you bisexual? Do you like girls? So it kind of stemmed.
Yeah. So we've always put it. I mean, we've been together since high school, since we were 18 and 17, and even since then, at such a young age, we put an ultra high premium on very deep, very open communication about everything. And I said from day one, if we are brutally honest about every single thing and are able to self-correct our own actions for the betterment of the other person, things will be great. But if we're brutally honest and we don't last, then we're not meant to last. So we had brought up swinging years, 5 or 6 or 7 years prior, and had discussed it.
Didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, like Dedra said, we watched porn and talked about a lot of scenarios and casually started to, move into that idea. And then I'm pretty sure I was the creepy one that was like, you know what, we should.
Hey, someone has to take the plunge, right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right. So when you host or attend these parties, is it always just a straight swap? Are there threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes? I can go on and on.
Anything and everything, and a lot of times nothing.
A lot of events, there's too much going on, and you don't do anything.
We always tell people, so there's no black and white about how an event or an event or a club or a party or anything is ever going to go. Are there huge unregulated orgies where nobody knows each other? Those exist. I'm sure they exist. Are there events where nobody does anything and they're just mingling and kind of cautious and tiptoeing around things? That exists. And there's a huge spectrum of everything in between. Wow. So typically, in our experience, the bigger the party, the higher, especially if you have a lot of friends going or you're trying to meet a lot of people, the higher likelihood that nothing is going to happen that night.
There's a lot of people, you want to meet as many as you can. And
absolutely. Meet and hang out with people. And it's especially if it's a really good party, nobody, on the one hand, it's who's going to leave the party and, miss the rest of whatever's going on for that night. But the other thing is, so let's say you're in, let's say there's 30 people that are all kind of mingling. If you have the balls to go up to one couple that you like and be like, hey, you should leave this party and we should go hook up. What if they say no and you're around everybody else? And then what are you going to do? Go to the next one and then the next one? So a lot of times people just don't even.
So you don't just walk into the room and say, "Hey, who wants to fuck?"
Trying to fuck
but Ben,
there are people.
There are a lot of people that do that.
Ben, this sounds like being single. This sounds like being single at a bar.
It really does.
Someone and having a fear of rejection. But I feel like if you're at a party and you see these people, you know what they're there for. Am I wrong?
Right.
Oh yeah,
and so these parties are definitely no pressure situations. So it's. I don't know, for me at least, I go to these parties and I feel really sexy whether I hook up with someone or not because I'm around people that aren't judging me for kissing someone or, thinking someone else is attractive. It's not about rejection or anything when we go to these things.
And again, everybody's a little bit different because we've been to so many events, because we have so many options and we don't have to play at a club, we don't have to play at a party. We just don't care usually. We can usually network and figure something else out. Like I said, the people that have to do it, that's their only chance. There's an outlet for them, absolutely. And they might go up to somebody after 5 minutes of chatting and say, hey, do you guys want to hook up? And they're going to be like, yes or no. And that's totally cool. That's their thing. That's generally not our thing.
No.
So obviously there's a safety issue here with obviously meeting new partners. What do you guys do to protect yourselves from STDs and that sort of thing?
Well, one, we use condoms for sure with everybody. And then we also both get tested regularly throughout the year. And we also ask other people we're with to get tested. know that we're going to set something up in the future. So a lot of times
Seems
we
fair.
like to meet people. Yeah, we like to meet people because a lot of times if you're parties you're going to, you're coming together with people that are from different state or different area that you would not normally see on a day-to-day basis. So we talk to them ahead of time and we like to meet them, and maybe they don't look like their pictures or they really suck at people.
I mean, and you know, you guys mentioned like it's like being single at bars. Who goes out to the bars
Right.
and finds some like sloppy drunk chick and goes, "Yeah, hey,
Sean.
watch the movie. By the way, have you been STD tested in the last Are you okay with condoms? Do you have a latex allergy?" So when you look into the swinger community, because
There isn't an app for that now?
there are
There actually are.
apps. You're looking at these open-minded people that generally value communication, and that communication also happens not just within each couple itself, but between couples. So we'll just ask those questions. If somebody's dodging questions, or you
Right.
kind of get a bad vibe,
Then we don't.
or if they seem super promiscuous or reckless, then we generally kind of steer away from that.
But if someone can't have a mature conversation about
Yeah.
these things, we pass.
The people that don't put that much effort into it and don't communicate that well are generally the riskier ones.
You mean like the ones that are just walking in like, hey, who's trying to fuck? All right, you're going? Let's go.
There are literally parties that are like, you know, naked pool party orgy, and you'll walk in and there's 60 people and everybody's naked and just kind of like randomly walking in, and you know, she's sucking his dick and he's doing whatever, and like that exists. And
That's exactly why I
Wow.
stopped going to family reunions.
And where is that?
I was just- you're describing my search history.
Griff, you had a question?
I do. So, do you guys have like a routine group of sexual partners? Do you like go to the stable and you're like, I like that one? Or are you open to new partners? And if so, how do I apply?
we have a strict no griff policy.
Oh my God, so do I.
I have that written in my contract.
It's the beard, isn't it? You might think I'm hairy all over. Shaven.
I'll be honest, that's not a beard I'm willing to sit on. So
I still want you to answer that question. That's a great question.
that was the original question.
Regular partners. Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
The go-to, like the home run. There it is.
Yeah, we have like regular people that we see. Like we see more girls probably just because I'm bisexual. So we have like girls that we see regularly, and then we seek out new people like throughout the year too.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's, you know, we've been in and out for almost 7 years, and things obviously evolve over time. In the beginning, when we were super, you know, like eager to do all this crazy shit, and we hadn't had all these adventures, like we were seeking stuff out all the time, and we were trying to meet new couples very actively. We were on the websites all the time. You know, if we were trying to find, you know, single chicks for threesomes, you know, I was mad swiping on Tinder like a crazy fool. Life changes. You know, we have 2 kids. We have a growing business. We tend to, you know, go back to the same consistent people. We try to not play with the same people super often. That kind of blends the lines of swinging versus like polyamory and we've had that sort of thing happen to us in the past, and we've experimented with that a little bit ourselves. We just kind of know when it's like, all right, we've been hooking up way too much.
Well, I do want to talk about this. So you have children now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So how has raising children affected the lifestyle just in general? And two-parter, eventually you're going to have to open up about this to your kids. What's the plan there?
Yeah.
No, listen, we've had this conversation with grandparents and parents and siblings and you name it. And eventually when our children are old enough, they're going to ask questions. And because we've always put so much of a premium on communication, by the time they're old enough to ask these questions, we're going to have what hope is such a stable relationship with them where they can come to us and we can talk about things with them. That our biggest thing that we've told people is they're going to ask questions. We're going to answer questions honestly, but not graphically. Right. And ultimately at the end, even if they resent us in the temporary, in the short term, in the long term, they're going to understand that mommy and daddy love each other more than life itself. We respect each other more than anything.
Very, very cool.
They're going to take those lessons into their own relationship, whether they have an open relationship or not. By the end, they will be better for it. So
Right.
No,
It's, I
Well,
mean, it's
no,
gonna
we love
happen.
each
Yeah,
other.
it's
That
gonna
was
happen.
the best answer
Damn.
literally anyone
Yeah.
could come up with.
You have
That
had
was
this
so-
damn.
before.
I want to
Yeah, the
spin
other part of your
this.
question was how do the kids affect it? Schedule obviously is a big part.
We can't be as sporadic.
We can't.
So.
Yeah, we can't be sporadic. We can't have people over here as much. Our kids are still young. It's like if we want to have a lady friend over and hang out for a couple hours, have a glass of wine, put the kids to bed, it's no big deal. Are we going to do that when the kids are 7 and 8?
No.
Probably
No.
not.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
No, you just
never
call
know.
her aunt.
Good
It's
point.
fine.
We'll babysit. Call
They
the
call-
weekend superheroes. We'll babysit.
I know.
All right, so I need a little bit of help. So I knew we were talking to you guys tonight. I've done a little bit of research. I need some help with some terminology. If you can help me out. So
Sure.
what does it mean for someone to be vanilla?
Vanilla just means that they have regular old relationships and sex. So
it's plain. It's the
Plain.
base.
You have to hurt our feelings. I mean,
I was vanilla last night.
No, you're Neapolitan.
this door swings every which way as far as ice cream. No, we got it.
It's all good.
All right, so next. What's the difference between a soft swap and a full swap?
Okay,
Penetration.
here's what's funny. We had that exact same question when we did the TV show.
There's
and
like
we're
a
filming-
video. We should
and there's
show
a
you
video
guys.
that's on YouTube, and
And
we get
it's
this,
us.
and it's us, and the exact same question. They go, "What's the difference between a soft and a full swap?" And I literally go, Dedra goes, "A full swap, they will go all the way," and I go,
This
"He's gonna
is,
talk YouTube,
this
and
is,
it
an,
went all over
aud-
the
this
world."
is an audio podcast.
For everyone listening, he
Oh,
made the
sorry, yeah,
gesture
thank
you're
you.
all thinking he made.
I'm still like, God.
No one knows what that popping sound is.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that was a penis popping inside of his butt.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I didn't know. I couldn't see it.
If that's how you have sex, I am so far behind you. I have no
I've been
idea
doing
what
it
I'm
wrong all these years.
Yeah, so soft is everything up to intercourse, and full is intercourse.
Okay.
All right.
I got it.
And last one. How would you describe a unicorn?
In the TV show, this was like part of our story. We were like the unicorn hunters because they just find us. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
So unicorns are single females that are active in the lifestyle. They're generally
Right.
bisexual. They call
have
them
sex with couples.
that have
yeah.
sex with couples. They're called unicorns because unicorns are mythical and magical, and they don't exist.
So then I'm a
And
minotaur.
most- and
So they're
can't find unicorns, the
unicorns have a
elusive
threesome.
unicorn. But when you're open and everybody knows, it's very easy to find them. And we've been sought out quite a bit. Ever since the TV show, people come to us constantly behind the scenes and ask to have an experience.
Oh, so unicorns do exist.
oh shit. So unicorn.
We had far more
you want a
unicorns
unicorn,
than
and
couples,
now
actually.
unicorns are coming to you and saying, "I'd like to be involved." Is that right?
Yeah.
Women that have had bisexual tendencies or urges and haven't been able to explore them, or have thought about a threesome and didn't know how to approach anybody, didn't want their friends and family to know. We have been an outlet for safe exploration for quite a few unicorns in our day.
Unbelievable. I want you to meet your most recent unicorn, Steve. Steve, you had a question for
Yeah,
them?
I have a question for both of you guys. Actually, answer separately. What was the best and worst experience you've had in this lifestyle?
The best one, I guess, we had this unicorn over, and she was like an Energizer bunny. Like, we literally had sex with her, and Ben came like 3 times.
The thing is, in swinging, guys don't always finish because
Right.
you're not trying to finish
It's
before
more
the
of
other
a
guy.
girl-oriented thing.
And especially like in a threesome situation, you're not trying to disappoint 2 women when you are used to disappointing 1.
There
So-
we go.
As much as possible. You know?
Oh my god!
That's
But
right.
yeah, this girl was really fun. She was really hot. She was into both of us, and she was one that approached us, and we entertained it. And basically, she had us up all night, and then was single for about 1 day, and then the very next day,
She was
in the
is-
morning, was
we
in a
literally
relationship.
got done having sex with her. We went to Taco Bell at like 3.
Oh my
And she-
God, that's my marriage.
She was texting some guy, and the very next morning at like 11 a.m.,
Yeah.
she was in a relationship with him on Facebook. We're like,
Oh my God!
Taco Bell, that's fine dining. No, that's where you want to go.
Well,
There's love at first taco.
Would you say that was the best experience for both of you? Same.
for
yeah,
me,
yeah.
in terms of just pure sexuality, I'd say that was probably one of the better ones. In terms of my favorite, oh geez,
Come on, Ben.
Fuck, man.
Put him on the spot here.
I would probably agree. I'd probably go with that one. In terms of the worst,
Yeah.
both of us. So years ago, we met up with a couple. They messaged us online, and it was basically the guy said, "Listen, my wife wants to try playing with a woman. I would love to watch her have a threesome with a couple and just watch." And we're like, "Okay, we've never done that. Cool." So he sent his wife out to a bar. We met her. She was awesome. We hung out with her for several hours drinking and whatever. Go back to their house. This guy is a fucking troll.
I'm
And
talking like
No, my name is Pat.
hair.
Griff.
It was so bad.
Yeah. So, and once we got there, we were still very early on in our lifestyle experiences. So we were, less into declining situations where now we'd be like, oh fuck, we're
Well, and
getting
we were
out
trying to
of
make
here.
the best of the
We
situation.
were trying to make the best of it. So basically, the woman started to try to push her husband on Dedra, and we realized pretty quick that
He lied.
He sold us on a threesome. He told his wife that she was scouting a couple to bring home for the two of them, and we're like, this is a shady situation.
Oh, yeah.
So I dodged a bullet. And I said, look, you guys are great. You're very hospitable. We're in your house. We don't play with couples on the first date. We like to get to know people, and then we'd like to go home and discuss it. So why don't Dedra and Christine have an experience, and the husband and I go, why don't you and I just watch? And he's like, great, we can do this. So we start doing that, and
Typically in the lifestyle, you groom or at least like try to.
this is she was like a 38-year-old,
Try.
120-pound little
Cute
blonde
girl. Very
woman,
cute girl.
beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And she takes her underwear off and has like Griff's beard. As a cute,
Oh no!
Like,
Oh no!
out of her underwear.
Ah.
Now I'm always going to see a vagina on Griff's face.
Just shave it off, Griff.
We ended up, so the girls ended up playing with each other.
it was
The
not.
guys ended up playing
good.
with their own wives. So Dedra and I were kind of fucking next to them while Dedra and the girl were making out. And
Okay,
the other
but-
husband tried to slowly creep his hand onto Dedra, and I grabbed him. And he looked like he looked like he was going to pee if he had pants on. He looked like he was going to pee his pants. And I just shook my head real slow, no. And he slowly pulled his hand back, and then I fucking railed Dedra, and they had to and then we left.
That might be the greatest sentence I've ever heard.
And for the record, I know this is an audio-only podcast, but Ben is a champion. He is huge. He's a bodybuilder. In fact, we were texting each other, and he would send me like the punch emoji, which looked to be possibly like the pound. Like he was giving me a
that's why
pound.
you have a black eye.
Yeah. Well, every time he did it, I would flinch like a little bitch. Like I was so scared. I didn't even know what was happening.
2 for
Well,
flinching.
listen, I'm just establishing my dominance early on with you.
It is so intense. These two are amazing. Griff, I think you had
All right,
a
guys.
question for these guys.
Yeah, here. I got one for you. So you guys had a show, Neighbors with Benefits. It only aired 2 episodes in the U.S., which was a shame. Where can anyone listen to see this and get more of Team Hartman?
Man, the show. So the show aired all over the world. It aired all over the world for like the last 3 years.
Multiple times,
Multiple times. We've been contacted incessantly from the UK to Brazil to Canada to Israel, all
Pittsburgh.
over the place by people all over the world that send us creepy videos or just nice messages.
No,
all
for
kinds
real.
of stuff.
We get dick pics and with like, like you
Oh,
live in
actually, I meant to ask.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
I mean,
He wants to
I'll get, like,
apologize
random
about
Facebook-
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I meant to ask. Did you get our dick pics?
You probably can't see me. I really got to zoom in. We're Irish, most of us.
Yeah, no, I know. Hey, so yeah. So anyway,
it's so
fucking dick
funny.
pics, yeah. So in terms of finding the show is nowhere to be found online. We've tried.
Not in the US.
We have seen
So
it.
have I.
We've had access to it, but that's nothing that's public. There's a ton of YouTube clips. There's a ton of websites and things that have information. In terms of finding us, we're very open on social media. We can be found on Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. We've had some YouTube stuff in the past. It hasn't been a priority in recent history, just with our business and kind of the marketing channels that we've used for that. But we're an open book. We get not just contacted with creepy dick pics, but people legitimately will contact us from all over the country and say, listen, we've always thought about this. We didn't know that couples like you guys existed. You've inspired us to have, dialogue about this sort of thing. Do you have any advice on XYZ? And these are random people that are reaching out, and
pretty cool.
It's flattering. It's very flattering.
I don't know if you guys have anything else. My last question is, if you're not stuck in any kind of routine and you are open to bringing new couples, who actually makes the cut? Who is, say you're at a party and there's a guy who just like shuffled a Cheeto out of his belly button. Do you have to have sex with that guy, or can you sort of veer off and do your own thing and make sure that whoever you're having sex with is who you want to have sex with?
Yeah, let's take one for a team.
Take one for the
That's
team.
what we
Oh,
just
that's a
talked
take
about.
one for the team.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why people play alone sometimes,
well,
though. So they,
well, then, Ben, my question is for you.
That's what they say. Sean, go the fuck home. Fiance, come with us.
Yeah, what would you do? Would you give me like a calendar to make sure all the days are in, like a coloring book so I could just hang out in the corner while
Listen, if you wanted to watch, if you wanted to be the creep and jerk off in the corner, just keep it away from me. Don't aim in my direction.
That's creepy.
I called that Thursday.
So the lifestyle is funny because, I mentioned like the polyamory thing. There's a whole spectrum of people that have what's called hot wife or cuck fantasies or the solo stuff, and it all kind of blends together. So you'll see people that they kind of swing, but they kind of just play alone. And you'll see people that they kind of swing, but they also kind of want to fall in love with other people. And everybody's a little bit different. I would say a large majority in the center of that bell curve in the lifestyle is people that generally don't take one for the team, and so that's why when they find somebody that they like that's willing to hook up, they jump at the chance.
yeah.
Ben, Dedra, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for coming on and being so honest with us. You guys got 5 more minutes to hang out with us and play Fact or Fucked?
Well,
Yeah.
Hell yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah.
They're in.
Here we go. Fact or Fucked? We're going to start with you, Griff.
Griff starts off 0 for 0.
Number 1, a U.S. state where the 2 major political parties have similar levels of support among voters is known as a swing state. Fact or Fucked?
Fact.
I'm going to say fact.
Yeah, fact. Ohio's
That's a
Fact
fact.
it
That's a
is.
fact
Well
for
done
sure.
to both of you. Now you're going to play Steve. Steve,
Oh, jeez.
the swing set was invented in 1895 by Malcolm Swingstride, who was originally used to entertain sick or disabled children while hospital staff was making their beds.
That name sounds made up, so I'm going to say fucked.
Fucked. What do you guys think?
fucking swing stride. The stride part was killing me. It's like,
That's what I'm saying.
what do you think? Fucked?
I say fuck.
Yeah, fuck it.
Fucked
Fuck
it is. Well done.
Also,
Yeah.
if they're sick or injured, they shouldn't be on a fucking swing set.
They start to get
Yeah.
harder.
They're not like, wee, we're on the swing set.
Pat, answer first.
Like waving his dick around all of it. Griff's over here swinging his dick. Griff's
That's all about the camera, right?
K7s. K7s.
I'm
Come
a nice
baby.
guy.
K7's Come Baby Come was the first track on his debut album, Swing Bada Swing.
Come, baby, baby, come, come.
There it is.
That is fact.
Fact. What do you guys say?
you.
Fact.
Fact it is. Oh, I'm getting murdered.
You're getting. You suck tonight.
Oh, you
Sean.
should go to a swingers club,
Griff,
Sean. You're
are
getting
you ready?
fucked.
I'm afraid to say anything.
Griff, are you ready? In the 1996 movie Swingers, Trent, played by Vince Vaughn, drives a car with license plate THX1138, which is a nod to George Lucas's directorial debut. Fact or fuck?
Fact.
I don't know. What do
Go
you
for it. Pick one.
No, I don't know.
Fact. Let's go fact.
That is fact. Well done, guys.
I knew
You guys
that
are
one
killing
too.
it. 3 more and we'll let you go, I promise. Steve.
So money, I don't even know
Oh
it.
boy.
Steve,
Bring it.
though most believe swing for the fences is believed to have its origin in baseball, the phrase dictates a motion of using a spike maul or a hammer to pound railroad spikes into train rails that,
man.
when in rows, are referred to as fences.
Oh boy. I don't want to fuck it up. We got a perfect record going on tonight.
Tell Meryl to swing away.
I want to
I love that
There
movie.
you go.
say.
Teacher.
Also,
I'm
swingers.
just gonna say fact.
Fact. What do you guys think?
Swing for the fences. And a railroad is a row called fences. Jesus.
This is a good one.
That sounds legit. Let's fact it.
Fact? That's fucked, guys. I made that up.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, you
This is
blew
the
it,
worst
Steve.
fucking podcast we've ever done.
You know what, Ben? You're right. Me too.
2 more and I'll let you go. Pat. We're on Pat? Is that what you were?
Yeah. Why is there 2 more?
I don't know. Benny Goodman, an American jazz clarinetist
I already know where you're going.
and band leader. He was the one who earned the nickname King of Swing in 1936.
100% fact.
Fact, guys, what do you say?
It was either a dancer or it was jazz. You said a jazz singer? Is that what you said?
He was a jazz clarinetist, actually,
And a band leader.
and a band leader.
So he was a
Band
musician.
King of Swing.
King of Swing. With King of Swing.
Let's see. Yeah. What?
But I'm thinking swing dance.
Oh.
Why would clarinetist be that? Fucked. Let's go fucked.
Yeah.
That is a fact, everybody. Well done, Pat.
Remember, I fact first.
Last one, and we will let you go.
Thanks.
The popular swing dance song Jitterbug actually refers
You do the jitterbug.
to a menacing insect popular in the 1920s that infected wheat, flour, and vegetation in the southern states and were responsible for over 45,000 deaths nationwide.
That sounds about right because most
I think
nursery
it-
rhymes
yeah, I think
are
it's
like
a fact.
All right, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with fucked on that.
Oi, oi, oi.
I say fucked.
Yeah, fuck it.
No.
What'd you guys come up with?
I think you said fucked, right?
Fucked?
Yeah, fuck.
Fucked.
Fucked it is. You
Damn it.
guys are absolutely fantastic. Big thank you to Dr. Jennifer Sinski for sending in those recordings. And don't forget to get her book on swinging in America. Love, sex, and marriage in the 21st century. Huge thank you to Ben and Dedra Hartman for being so open and honest with us.
Thanks, guys.
You can see these two and
So
answer.
cool.
They answer your burning questions all over their YouTube channel. And if you're looking for an effective, FDA approved and affordable sports nutrition supplements, visit MN Takeover. That's WWMN. That is MaryNancyTakeover.com and pick those up today. Guys, do you want to say goodbye to everyone who loves you?
Had a blast, guys. Thanks so much for having us on. We are flattered and honored that we were even considered for something like this. We hope that we answered everybody's burning questions. Yeah, hit us up if you ever need us back.
It's been a pleasure.
You guys are absolutely fantastic.
Thanks, guys. You're
Would you
awesome.
like to say goodbye, Pat?
So
Hey,
fun.
goodbye, guys. Thank you very much. Don't wake the kids.
Steve, say goodbye.
I'm gonna defer my goodbye onto Pat because I know
say
he's gonna
goodbye.
say,
Good night, ladies.
"There it is."
If you want to find out more about us, you can find us at weekendsuperheroes.com. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast. Just search for Weekend Superheroes. Keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter. And guys, always remember
To podcast
responsibly.
Responsibly.